Belize is a wonderful place. It's a wonderful country, great people. It's fairly well developed for Central America, so it's a great sort of soft landing first experience for students wanting to get involved in countries and developing countries in the tropics. The cultural experience for these students is amazing. I mean, we live in a multicultural society. No matter if you're working on agriculture here in the U.S. or internationally or around the world, we're facing global challenges and global issues, and we need our students to be prepared to meet these challenges. They need to be culturally competent. We've got students from University of Tennessee, University of Florida, NC State University, SUNY, and this next year we've got some even from Utah State. We took an agroecological approach, which is a fancy word for a whole farming system. So it's not just the farmers themselves, it's the economics, it's the attitudes, the social sciences, the actual soil itself, so the crop science and the wildlife and the forestry as well. So taking this agroecological approach, what we did even in our proposal writing steps was we found 7 different faculty at universities of Tennessee and Florida. A lot of undergraduates, when they get research experience, end up working in a lab, which is very valuable. However, this gives the whole thing from research design right up through analysis and manuscript preparation. We've had students present at international conferences already based on their research results from this past summer. Yeah. And we were very close to having a couple publications in review with the undergraduates as first author.
So the region where we were staying wasn't actually on the coast of Belize, what a lot of people think about. We were pretty close to the Guatemalan border, and we lived in a town called Sucuts, and it was very jungly, very dense. Often we were out bushwhacking our way through the jungle looking at farms. Okay, so a typical day working in Belize, we would get up around 6 or 5:30. We all had breakfast at the place where we stayed, truck stop, around 6 o'clock. And then we were in the trucks ready to leave by 6:30. So by the time we got to the field sites, it was probably 7:15. And then we would try to work before the heat of the day, break for lunch, and then probably stay out there until 4 o'clock, get back to our base at 5. So it was a full day. The whole cohort, all of our projects are pretty intertwined for like this whole region, but my project specifically focused on the soil health in that region. And so the first part of my project was just to analyze and get a good picture of the soil in the whole region on the different farms. And then secondarily to start comparing the cropping practices between those. Well, I definitely think the best thing that I got from the whole project is just being able to be a part of like from start to finish, like designing it, implementing it, and then writing about it. I think that was a really important experience to have. I hope that the results from the work I've done will help aid to make a plan for how the land is used in the future in this area.
I was working with forestry and forest products, so we really had 2 forestry projects since there were 2 students down there. There's another guy from Florida. And so we were looking at, first we needed an inventory of the forest reserve down there where we were working so we could see what they were working with down there. And then also we were looking at possibly some trees that they could plant to supplement farmer income down there with a quick rotation. There's a lot more diversity in the kinds of trees you'll see there. So there are like pine trees, but there are also palm trees next to the pine trees and big giant fig trees, and then like everyone wants to find like the mahogany trees and stuff because those are really the cash crops as far as the timber goes. About once a year, someone burns down their neighbor's farm, and they end up burning down a lot more like jungle than they need to actually use. So as forestry majors, Jesse and I have both been able to take some classes in wildland fire, and so we're hoping this summer to actually implement a program to teach them some about responsible burning practices. It really kind of opened my eyes to the world of grad school because I was just a sophomore when I went last year, so I hadn't really thought about it that much, but now I'm pretty excited to look into all of that stuff.
I really liked it because I got to work with a group of students, so we learned how to cohesively work together with, sometimes limited resources, so learn how to do that. And then also just learn about the culture there. We went to a few Mayan archaeological sites, so that part was really fun. We did that almost every weekend, did something different. Mainly my project, I focused on the relationship between bat species richness and farm structure. So I set up these song meter SM2 bat detectors that monitor bat activity. And then also for farm structure, I looked at the characteristics. So I looked at variables like canopy, cover, veg type, veg height, things like that. So they have fruit bats, insectivorous bats, and nectar-eating bats. So I focused on insectivorous bats, and they provide a lot of ecosystem services, such as crop pest control. So I really wanted to see how I can help the farmers out there, you know, make their farm structure conducive for those insectivorous bats. I do plan on going to grad school, so having this research project has helped me understand how that part works a little bit. And then also after that, I plan on doing more research on like non-game or threatened or endangered species, so that was great for that part. And then also international research would be cool too.
Yeah, so by 2050, we're gonna have 9 billion people on this planet. And that's a number I can't even really fathom. It's grains of sand on the beach. But with 9 billion people come these massive impacts to our environment and to being able to feed them, to provide people with basic sustenance. So by having top quality students coming out of at the undergraduate level, they'll be ready to face this challenge and to hopefully successfully feed these 9 billion people in a way that's sustainable and that is in tune with the Earth's ecosystems rather than us putting agriculture against environmental concerns.